Welcome to the VectorVest special presentation, this week titled More User Group Wisdom. My name is Todd Shaffer, Manager of Research for VectorVest, and I'll be your presenter this evening. Based on the success of our Financial Freedom Summit and our many other online events, we can tell people want to learn to use VectorVest to make money in the stock market. What was really nice was that we also witnessed the VectorVest community helping and supporting those who were just seeing the system for the first time. That's exactly what our user groups are all about. VectorVest sanctions user groups across the globe, and many of them are still operating during this COVID-19 shutdown through social media. Dr. DeLito started the first user group in Akron, Ohio, and has written about them often in the Views. Here's a sample. The essence of a successful user group is member participation. The best user groups, as far as I'm concerned, have a free but orderly exchange of questions and answers among all group members. They also have a free exchange of ideas for making money. Demonstrations and presentations on how to make money with VectorVest are especially important. I received an email from our user group leader in Pensacola, Florida, that perfectly embodied Dr. DeLito's sentiment. It's from George Clark. He's the user group leader from the Pensacola, Florida user group. George's name may be familiar to you as he and his user group are previous winners of a VectorVest portfolio competition. His email begins, "Hello, I'm George Clark, the user group leader for Pensacola, Florida. I've customized my unit searches to show additional information which may be helpful in trading stocks. Please take a look at the attached document and see if anyone else may be interested in using them. Let me tell you my thought processes in coming up with these changes. One night, I decided that I wanted to know which stocks were moving up after normal market hours. So this is a great example of how you might benefit from an exchange of ideas. Now, you may not use George's exact idea, but you might be able to apply what you learned from him in your own trading. It all starts with an idea." His email continued, "I built a custom field called diff high percent, which divides the price by the high for the day and converts it to a percentage. Did you know that you can build custom fields within the VectorVest tool? I'll show you how after we finish George's email." He continued, "It requires extended hours to be set, obviously to see the action after the markets close. So you can see we're in extended hours at the time he ran his search. But I'm getting a little ahead of George. He says, I then built a unisearch called Overnight Sensations, one can hope, which searches for post-market prices higher than the day's high and set diff high percent descending as the sort criteria, as he's indicated here with his little red circle. At this point, George is still just applying his new indicator, diff high percent, to his other tools in VectorVest. So we've set the sort. He continues, "This allowed me to see which stocks were moving up after normal hours. I could then see if the price movement followed through the next day." And we can see he's displaying that in his search results, where he's looking at the current price, the after hours price, compared to the day's high, and his diff high percent indicator is telling us that the current price is 51.7% higher than the high. And you could track the performance of these stocks in the next session in a watch list or in a portfolio. He continues, "That was nice. Then serendipity set in. I had added diff high percent to the viewer layout. Yes, you can modify layouts within VectorVest. I'll show you how after the email here. This resulted in my being able to see the difference between the current price and the high of the day during market hours. I then added diff high percent to the Unisearch and Quickfolio layouts. So note the first stock on the Quickfolio, BXRX, was up over 26% on the day, but 11% off of the high. Maybe I'd look for a stock near to the high. The diff high percent field gives me more information about when to enter a trade. I also decided that I wanted to see more information about a stock's performance. That led me to develop a new set of unisearches. I call it the dashboard. It shows the price deltas from different time periods. It gives me one place to see past history. It's like combining several quick tests with the power of a unisearch. The time periods I used were 15 minutes, 3 days, 10 days, and a specific date, in this case 3/23, which was the market low after our most recent correction. As we move along, this date could be changed to a significant pivot point or just December 31st of the previous year to get a year-to-date result. And I would have you note, by the way, that in this case, George has set his sort to percent price change, so the biggest movers on the day. And then he can see the historical context on his dashboard. But that sort could be top VST stocks, top RS stocks, whatever parameter you want to sort by, including one of his deltas. So let's move into the program, and I'll show you how easy it is to build on some of George's ideas. Let's begin with the Custom Field Builder tool, which is under the Tools button in the upper right corner of the program. Click on Tools, and you'll see Custom Field Builder is listed at the top of the screen. And let's simply copy George's formula into our program. So I'll click in the field name, and let's type diff high percent. And then moving down into the custom field definition window, we'll begin with his operators, which are 2 parentheses. Then we use price, so I go to fields, price split adjusted, operator divided by fields price days high. Close that function with 1 parenthesis, and then we're going to subtract the integer 1 and close the parenthesis. We'll take that calculation and multiply it times 100. So we have a good copy here. Let's validate that the equation works. Validation was successful, so we'll say exit. And yes, we'll save our changes. So now that we've created our custom field, there are multiple places we can use it in the program. One of the ways George used it was as a sort parameter. So to edit the sort, I hit the drop down and look at all the custom fields that exist already in the program, both generated by VectorVest and by the user of this particular logon. If we scroll alphabetically, we'll see diff high percent in the list. And now, clicking OK, it becomes our sorting tool. They're also easy to use within the Unisearch tool. If I click in the parameter cell and hover on stocks and go to My Custom Fields, here I'll find diff high percent that I created for my particular logon. Now, as George demonstrated, I could just say display the value within the search results. Or I could have also selected any of these operators for an actual value. In other words, I want the diff high percent to be maybe less than, in this case, 10% off of that intraday high. If I run the search, this is going to look at all the stocks in the database and bring to the top of the list the stocks that have the highest diff high percent at the top of the list. You can see our column. And those values need to be less than 10%. Let's begin by keeping it simple. We'll just change the operator to display only. In the results, we see our sort brought the lowest diff high percentages to the top, 0, because the price matches the day's high. These stocks closed at their high. And the secondary sort was symbol ascending, so we have an alphabetical sort on a secondary sort basis. I can also use this custom field with any existing search. If we come down to search as prudent, here's top VST stocks. I'll run the search, and notice I can right-click on the table, go to the Layout tool, and add my custom field to the layout. Let's move it up higher next to price. And then let's also move the high price. It's already in our table. Let's move it up next to diff high percent. And now we can see our custom field in our table, and we can compare the price to the high. And the current price is 1.87% lower than the high. During the session, of course, the price can't be higher than the high. It's either at the high or lower. But now I have that information available to me, but I've maintained the integrity of the VST descending sort. So now you've learned how to build a custom field, add it to any search, and how to modify a layout. And by the way, another way to modify your layout is to left-click and hold the column and drag it to its new location and release. George also showed us how to use deltas, percentage price changes, over different time frames. And we can add that to any search. So if I go to the next open line, under date time, I can enter time of search. I can then go to stocks, price, split adjusted. The operator then becomes delta. And I can go a relative time. Right, this was the price over the last 10 days, display it only, or quantify it being relative to a specified value. I can also look at time frames over days, weeks, and minutes. Or, as George suggested, use also a specific time where you might use the end of last year to see how that stock has been doing year to date. So we click OK, run the search. It calculates that value, and we can see that Humana is up 10.17% year to date based on last night's close. And as I mentioned before, a very popular variation of that theme is to, instead of just display them, sort them ascending or descending. And now you can find, because we changed the sort now, we're finding the stocks that have had the biggest gains over the past year to date. And really, that's just a sampling of the power of the VectorVest system from one user group presentation. Pretty cool, I think. And your local user group is easy to find. Just go to the VectorVest views and change the date to the most recent Friday, because on Fridays we publish in the extended version of the VectorVest views all of the user groups. Simply scroll through the list. We have them arranged by country and by state. And if you're in the Pensacola area, stop at Florida, click on the Pensacola user group. You'll find the most recent user group notice, and we can see that Pensacola is doing online meetings, and you have all of these Zoom meeting links that you need to attend the session. And I want to make sure to make special notice, a special shout out to the International Online User Group Forum led by Stan Heller. Stan covers all of our databases across the globe. His next session, June 6th. And Stan gets rave reviews because he provides great information and always a special presentation. So you can find that information here. You can also find it in our events list, both in the views and on our home page. Simply click the link to register or join the session. By the way, if you've deleted the events gadget from your homepage, you can add it back, or you'll also find this information in the VectorVest views on Friday. And I'll finish up by saying, while I do appreciate that we're able to get together online, I'm old school and I sure hope we get to see each other again in person soon. So to wrap it up, I think George and his group are fulfilling Dr. DeLito's user group mission. The best user groups have a free but orderly exchange of questions and answers among all group members. They also have a free exchange of ideas for making money. Demonstrations and presentations on how to make money with VectorVest are especially important. If you'd like more information, here's our contact information. Please let us know if we can be of any help. Thank you for watching.
Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. Now, if you're new to the software or would like refresher information about the software, click on this Getting Started video right here. Thanks to all of your input, here's a YouTube video that we think would be perfect for you. Click right here. If nothing else, folks, just hit the subscribe button right here.